So I'm standing in front of the Petit Trianon, which is like the little palace on the grounds of Versailles. And this is where Marie Antoinette kind of made her home. It was her wedding gift from Louis the 16th to Marie Antoinette. She's the first queen to like have her own little residence. And he basically said, I know you love flowers, so I got you a bouquet. This. She didn't live here all the time, but she came out here when she could, and she wanted kind of a smaller, more humble life. They describe this as cramped. And I mean, it is like significantly smaller. There's like one bedroom, one dining room. If you're Marie Antoinette, this is fairly humble. And she would come out here only with like her closest girlfriends. So this was like her Barbie dream house. There were no boys allowed. The king even wasn't allowed to spend the night. This is just for girl time. And when Marie Antoinette wanted to get even further away from the court, which I guess she was like stressed and overwhelmed by, fair, she built her own little hamlet, which is like supposed to resemble like a farmhouse, which we're walking to right now. It's basically in the backyard of the Petit Trianon. We just learned too from our handy little guide that the architect who built this was inspired by
Jean-Jacques Rousseau,
because his whole thing was like get back into nature. We said Earth belongs to no one. We should all, yeah. Marie Antoinette was like, I can do that. Let's build some rivers and get back out to nature. This artificial river was built in the same year that what war ended?
The American Revolution.
Yeah. So this is the Queen's Hamlet. And basically it's described as like a palace that was broken apart into different buildings that were kind of made in a more rustic style. You can see they still have like working vegetable gardens. You know, there are two ways to interpret this, the building of the Hamlet. I've heard it described as her kind of wanting to cosplay as a poor person, right? And it's like her just being so out of touch. But I think the better way to think about it is her being a normal person, like a human being who wanted to get away from the court at Versailles, was overwhelmed, and wanted somewhere where she could go and be more in touch with nature. Yes, the walls of some of these places were like covered in silk, right? This is still Marie Antoinette's place. But I think that it's maybe unfair to make it seem like she was just so out of touch. I think she actually just kind of maybe envied people who had more privacy and had the ability to kind of go out into nature whenever they wanted. There was like a little fishery, this building with kind of a lighthouse on top, and then these farms where she would come out and she would sample like fresh produce. So this is the Queen's house out here. Like thatched roof, pretty good view. 10 out of 10 would Airbnb here.